right in the light.
Oh, my.
Right as the lightning went off. That was dope. Hello, everybody. We're here. We did it. We made it. It's the last day of 2024, and I've fully turned into a grandpa now. This is just how I'm going to speak for the rest of my life.
It's going to make all the characters you play sound
very confusing.
I'm trying to picture Baldura sounding like that now, and the thread is gone.
Yeah, that's what you think. Just wait till you get on my lawn. Anyway,
Put Baldura
I
in
was
the home.
transported to Rankin and Bass classic Rudolph's Shiny New Year with old Father Time making way for Baby New Year.
yes.
Grandma Homer Congress.
Lol.
Haha, Astral.
That's more of a you guys problem.
Yeah.
Astral's like, 'cause that's your regular voice, is it not? Also, DM abuelo. That's fair. Or as I was been recently coined at work, Grampy Peepaw. Grampy Peepaw. Grampy Peepaw.
DJ Grampy People.
Yeah. Aged Grampy Peepaw does it again. The Adventures of Grandpa Peepaw.
What's
Anyway.
a mixtape?
What's Oh Lord. I wasn't gonna mention your work nickname. That's okay. It's
I
fine.
feel like you're just giving Nickelodeon ideas.
Yep. I am in fact a 20-year-old dressed as an 80-year-old man. And then I'll dance the Six Flags theme song. Dun, 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 dun.
Also, that was a lady.
Also fair.
Really?
Yeah. Yep, cat's out of the bag. All right, well, welcome to our final game of 2024. It's been a really exciting year filled with lots of crazy things, and looking forward to another exciting year filled with lots of more crazy things. All the announcements. Let's see. Tomorrow, Vampire, yes?
No vampire.
No
tomorrow
vampire.
Due to holiday shenanigans, but we will be resuming normal service next week, and hopefully that stays uninterrupted, because goddamn.
Yeah, that's a mood. Yeah, no, that's fair. All right, sweet. Well,
Hey, speaking of next week, Aaron, you got something you want to say?
So you know how I kind of like to do a lot of stuff all at the same time. Well, we are starting season 2 next week on the 9th. It will be something.
Madman.
It will be something
But
because
Aaron,
the week as
Season
of right
one's
now.
not over.
Oh, I know.
Aaron's
Trust
just
me.
gonna kill all of us and reset the world.
To be fair, what he said before he was going to run all these Age of games was that he was going to try and run them simultaneously in the earlier conversation.
That's
I
true.
missed that initial
Yeah.
statement of
Yeah.
overconfidence.
Yes.
I wish to admire that ambition from afar.
Well, it's gonna be interesting because, like, in 2 weeks, so the week of what is that week of?
The 17th? Is that your next?
Yeah. So the week of the that starts the
Oh my
13th,
gosh.
we will have our Tuesday night game. We'll have potentially Wednesday Vampire. We'll have Thursday on the new Age of Innovation, and then on the 17th we will have our next Tales of the Hidden Path. Is going to be Knights of Silver Moon all day, all the time.
I love it.
I said, would you say like every night of the week?
Hey.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
I'm gonna
And-
throw up.
Oh, right. You ended on a
You
real
will.
fun note.
Oh my goodness. Yes. And then at some point later this month, we will be bringing back the return of the Game of Santos crew, potentially, as we go and do a Kindred birthday extravaganza once again.
It can't be January without Kindred and a Crown having a birthday game.
We really
I
can't.
love it.
That self-indulgent bitch.
I cannot wait to show him that because that is great. And he's gonna go,
Clip
yeah,
it.
that's right. What about it? Anyway, it's gonna be a really fun start to the year with lots of entertaining things.
And stay tuned for Discord. I don't want to announce the date because there's a good chance it could get moved, but some fun guesty things with some continued stories I've been in with our friends at Top Down Tabletop.
Yeah.
We have a goal for mid-January, but some people life things might move that date further.
Tis life. Tis
life.
life. For real. Nah, it's all good. All right, we streaking. All right, thank
Yeah, my boy
you,
Blue.
Petulant Cobra, for streaking through. How very fitting for the an acolyte of Dionysus. Legends of the Hidden Silver Moon. Oh no. Okay. Anyway, I think that covers about all of our announcements.
Go Silver Monkeys.
Yes. Is that our sports team now? Or is that something else?
It's a Legend of the Hidden Temple reference.
Oh, yes.
get you the
Oh,
people.
Olmec.
It's okay.
Olmec. Now I get it. I was like, I don't understand, but I'm going to laugh anyway. These darn kids and all their stuff. Never
Just roll
mind.
the intro here.
Here we go. As one does.
Well, I'm the star of Bethlehem.
Oh, that's great. Okay. Well, Themisto, you have started off with some inspiration, if you did not have one already. I don't.
Ah, lovely.
From Levix. Beautiful, beautiful.
It's also inspired me to take my dice out of the dice bag.
Fair enough, fair enough. Okay. As we last left off, we find ourselves in the hole. The helm. Oh, the wrong.
The whole
list-
hell.
What's
The
on your
whole-
line
the
tonight?
The
bound
hole
Garrett?
of the helm. The hole. Hull. You perv.
Right.
Anyway, we start off here in the helm, where Laertes has just conducted a small, harmless little test on the wee precocious lass, who, after it's done, just like looks up, wondering if that is indeed it. Goes back to finishing what she was doing, and Amadeo receiving the pleasant news, the oh so pleasant news, of all of your joys, all of your fears Okay, so we're here. To which, Amadeo, you now think of all the potential, maybe not repercussions, but the what this might mean for the future of your child and your family. What are you guys doing?
We have a ferry to catch, do we not?
Burning daylight.
I believe so.
Capitano Saladene, I will have to return and do my service later. I apologize.
That is okay, I guess, but just this once. If you're tardy for any of your services, I will have to feed you to the fish.
Understood, Captain. Though maybe next time I could bring another crewmate for you.
I prefer
I know
presents.
What about a friend?
Presents are better. Friends, it depends on the friend, if they are worth anything. But presents don't, betray you or stab you in the back.
That's my girl.
Get a look at Amadeo. Go. All right, Capitanos.
All right. You guys head out.
Follow me?
You guys gather your things after saying goodbye to your illustrious hosts here at the helm, this house of hospitality for the sailing folk of Thebes. You head out to the dockyards now with the day having begun, and the docks themselves are now beginning to fill with people. See here. There is a few. There's a little bit of a line as you are going into or going up to where the ferry is. But as you guys are making your way through here, the crew, well, Amadeo and Mog, are in the process of kind of moving people to the side as arrangements have been made in advance so that you guys basically get a speed pass and no longer don't have to wait in the line of people that are awaiting their turn to a ferry to go
We
across
get
to
little
the
like
city
Mickey
of Thebes.
bracelets.
Yes. Exactly. You see that this ferry doesn't look like, it's kind of more almost like a catamaran sort of build. It's a wider shape, and so people kind of, as they step onto it or have their objects and animals that are being loaded onto it, it's like a longer but wider and lower vessel. There's a few large ships that are here, but you see that most of the ships that go towards Thebes are of this design. They aren't the deeper watered vessels. And as you guys pile onto this first, I was gonna say raft, but this first boat that goes across to Thebes, the rest of Amadeo's crew have opted to stay stay behind, as they are going to get things and supplies ready for your journey back to Sparta. So only Mog is going with you, Amadeo. Which I will say, Mog looks a little on the pensive side as you guys are doing your business this morning. Looking a little on the far away, and then distracted and shakes their head and comes back to the now before they again start to kind of just lose themselves in thought.
I like to go up to Mug, and when I catch them just a little distant and distracted, just sort of touch the cloth of their shirt and just give them a polite nod after I shake them back, just a little bit.
Hi.
Hey. I'll lean in, just. Well, the fact that you are still standing, I guess your conversation went well.
Yeah. You know, the captain is smart. He knows, doesn't want to lose two good crewmen in one night, so. Plus, kind of get promoted, kind of.
Did he make promises? Did you, or did both?
I kind of promised.
I hope this is one that you can live with in a more long-term fashion.
See their eyes get a little wide, and then immediately it's like the exact phrasing of the words made them realize something, and then they quickly just shake it, put it to the back of their mind. Yeah, I'm sure it's fine. It's my life. It's what I do. I'm good at knocking in heads, kicking people in the shorts.
I'm sure we'll come to rely on it.
I'm
I'll
really
pat
good
them
at
on
it.
the back and I'll step around.
Whatever happens after we're gone, be careful.
Well, if you're not there to protect me, I'm going to have to be more careful, aren't I?
I'm just saying, I can't be everywhere all the time. You gotta learn to stand up for yourself, Get you some good old sea legs, and they punch you in the shoulder.
God, wouldn't it be crazy if I used shield right now?
Stop hitting yourself.
I'm sure that won't leave a bruise, but thank you.
Something to remember me by.
Well, I'm sure getting to live another day is a good reminder.
The face that immediately falls, going, "Oh, yeah."
Thank you.
Just nods. Goes back to kind of watching some of the other people that are sitting and kneeling down or standing around as the ship is, as it goes further or gets closer to Thebes. You can see that even though there's a little bit of an edge, it's probably it curves upwards about 2 feet. You could still easily fall over the side of it, but the waves here are it's not a sea with many waves. The water acts kind of almost like a lake. You can see that indeed the way that this ship is propelled is partially through the sails that are held up on the mast in the middle, but then also kind of like the canoe. Not, they're not called canoes, but the boats that go through Venice. They have the guy this with the poles.
The gondolas.
Gondolas. Thank you. So that's kind of a little bit navigated by pole gondola driver people. Whatever the actual word is, I'm sure it exists, but I cannot think of it at the moment.
Gondoliers.
Gondolier, there you go. Gondoliers, perfect. But there's probably about 20, 30 people on the ship with you as well. And just kind of waiting as you sail across these, this bay water, the water of the bay, as it were. As you go across, and you approach Thebes, Amadeo, you're kind of torn between the two places as you look back occasionally at Thespes, knowing that your family is back there getting ready to leave. As that was the instructions you had also been given, that you had also given your other half of the crew, is make sure that they got ready themselves, even though it was under the guise of traveling back to Sparta. You look forward to the city of Thebes itself. It's probably about almost 2 miles out, so it's a little bit of a smooth sailing cross. It's not super quick, but it doesn't take too long. You think of the promise as you look over and watch Mog talk with Laertes. And you think of the discussion that you had with them last night. The discussion that you had with Lucio the night before as well. And what all of this could mean for you in the future. You look at these people that you had spent these last few days traveling with. Troublemaking demigods. And their shenanigans, all their god-adjacent shenanigans. There's part of you that kind of wonders what lies in store for them next. But also part of you that doesn't want anything to do with it. Sometimes you wonder if that whispering voice in the back of your mind has always been you. The one that drives you to do these things. One that argues with you to not do these things. Maybe that was the, what was it? Mamadeo, Bromadeo. One of those other voices. Anything you guys are wanting to do or say before, as you guys are crossing?
Yeah. The Misto will call out to Astrid. Astrid, you know, this ferry is nice, but I have to say I find myself missing the Hawk of the Sea.
Mr. Hawk of the Sea so much.
Do you think Eric's and the crew will come to pick us up at Thebes when we are done? When successful, of course.
Hopefully. I left Astra to sail along with them, so hopefully yes.
Astra is there with them.
In a way, yes.
This is nice. In a way. In a god sort of way.
Well, she has her own ship, but does not sail the waters. She was there with me on the Hawk of the Sea when we were heading out to to find the sea monster, but now I think she just looks over them on her own ship.
And Amadeo, is your ship still sailing around somewhere, or is it found its fate at the bottom of the Aegean?
Oh no, it is out there. It is currently docked, but ready. It should be ready to depart by the time we see her again.
Well, I'm happy you'll be rid of us and you'll be able to take to the waters again instead of walking around.
Me too. It has been a pleasant journey. Except for all the unpleasant parts.
That's hard to argue with.
Don't see many manticores on the sea,
No,
but you do see other things.
Yes, the harpies, for example.
And thankfully, one
There's
less
kinda-
monster. Thanks to Asteroid and crew.
Yes. No Serapis, thanks to Astrid.
Okay.
Cypress at some point will gather the group and kind of sit down in front of them. I have been in some turmoil about this, and while I would make my own decision, I wanted to consult my friends. For not only the fact that you are, but some of you I deem much wiser than myself. It is very important to me when we get home that I protect my city and that I protect my loved ones. I want to warn them of the dangers of the cult and of the plague, but we are not only sworn to secrecy about the finer details, but if you all think so, that I want your advice on how best to achieve these goals. I don't want to go rogue, so to speak, and immediately start doing what is unwise.
Just a quick question. Where are we having this conversation?
On the boat? Oh, if the probably on like near the stern, where maybe not necessarily the whole of Amadeus' crew is.
Well, there's only one because it's only Mog and Amadeo.
Ah, then Mog's probably present. Whoops.
Are we able to speak in a way that's not going to be overheard by the rest of the passengers, or is this fairly tight quarters?
It's big enough that you guys can go over to a side or whatever and speak as
Okay.
in a quiet group. And it's not noisy, but it's not like it's quiet and you can, hear everything either. So as long as you're not shouting it.
Sound of the water and everything.
Right.
Okay. Well, I think at least a safer bet would be discussing the cult. I think we can at least agree on that. That they're dangerous. That we're here to correct some of that, but we may need to tell more to venture to where we need to go.
Which is, I know you've been following a thread involving some spires. You think that there is something beneath the city?
Possibly. It's the impression I've been given, and by more than one party.
Or perhaps something in the city itself. Who knows? Maybe there is a monument or something could be right under our noses.
I cannot promise that we will be welcomed, much less myself, by the queens. Certainly we should be able to enter the city, but the the two queens are. They are primordial. They are changeable and different. I've never quite understood their thought processes, but I know that they've not always had favor for me.
Well, perhaps word of your deeds has already traveled to Thebes, eh?
Possibly.
Or perhaps, if it comes to it, and we have to let them know of some type of threat, this news will be the thing that matters.
Thank you.
The mister is going to glance at the wheat that is sticking out of her little herbalism pouch to take another little look at the health status of our fine friend Xanthus.
It is looking kind of sad. I mean, aside from the fact that it's, it's a lone solitary, stalk of wheat with the grass and the grain at the top. It is still. It looks like a plant that needs watering, but it is still alive. But it looks wilted or wilting. But that's kind of to be expected of the situation, even whenever the whenever it was created with Astrid's through Astrid's hand, it was not necessarily the strongest looking fiber of it wasn't made up of the strongest looking fiber at the time.
Sclavios, I hope you can help.
Okay.
Anyway, with as a little bit bleak as everything can be, and the Misto knows, who knows how long we're going to have moments of levity again, the Misto is going to unfold her her wax tablet. And as she opens it, it has been cleaned of the wax on the inside. And she's got some little round, flat, wooden-like pips or chits or whatever you want to call them inside it. And she will say, "Hey, Amadeo Mog, does one of you have a pair of dice I could borrow?"
Of course. Of course.
I knew I could count on the pirate for something to gamble with.
Here you go.
Beautiful.
Thank you. Laertes, I was wondering if maybe you would want to play a game with me. It's something one of the travelers from Delphi who was beseeching the Pythia and talked to a few of us as they were waiting in the line.
I'm at least curious.
It is from the east, closer to your home. It's called the Tectenard. It's backgammon.
Now, me as the player knows nothing about backgammon at all. I played it maybe once 30 years ago.
There's a mix of skill and chance because there is the random dice factor, but
Okay. Now the real question is, because again, I don't know and don't remember, is there an element of math involved?
oh yeah.
Okay. Okay. I'm just saying, maybe advantage. Just put it out there.
Yes. I think probably as Themisto explains the rules, and she's going to be saying them out loud to everyone in case we have chance for, someone to play the winner. Laertes would probably find that he's picked up on everything fairly quickly compared to Themisto herself, even.
If you're
So-
saying that this is also more towards where he's from, he's probably played a heavy amount of this at one
he's
point.
probably it's so it
He's maybe hustling you
originates-
at this point. Oh, tell me about this magical game I've never heard of.
It's it has an ancient Persian origin, so it would
Yeah.
have had to make its way through Ilum to get to Delphi in the first place.
Yep. So what are we rolling?
She'll go ahead and sit on the ground, and rather than actually playing backgammon, if we just want to like do one of those little 2 out of 3 things or something to determine who succeeds, maybe you rolling with advantage. Your math skills.
Go for it.
All right. Just D20s, or would it be?
Sure, yeah, why not?
One at a time or 3 at a time? Would it be?
Sure, let's just roll all 3.
Okay.
Make it go quick.
I guess I
But
can't.
not the one that I dropped on the floor.
I think I'm gonna have to roll it single so I can get the.
Oh, no worries.
Oh, right.
Yeah, because it doesn't quite do the thing.
It's I'm gonna tell you now. You probably crushed her because these are very low rolls.
My highest was a 12.
Dang.
Okay.
Oh, no.
The first one. It's okay. This is part of hustling. You got to make them think that they're doing okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
so my first one was still lower than that. It was half. It was a 6.
Okay.
So you got me at the opener of the game.
Mhm.
Midway through, how are we doing?
And then the next one.
10.
16. All right. The Mister's caught up.
Oh, it's anybody's game now.
Last but not least.
One of those is a natural 20.
Okay, the Mister
Ooh.
rolled an 11. So you've beat Themisto at her own hand carved set of backgammon.
Strange. I loaded these dice myself. I mean, you won fair and square. You.
Oh, damn
I
it, gave
did
him the loaded
borrow
dice.
the dice from a pirate. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I have a feeling like Laertes could feel the weight was off on one of them, so he knew how to
He's
roll.
not doing math. He's not doing math. He's doing physics.
Yes.
Amadeo nods because he respects a guy that can figure out the weights of his dice.
The Mister's like, well, I had the feeling it was going to turn out this way, but I put up a fight, huh?
Beautiful.
He's going to just bring her in just a little bit closer, and he goes, roll it this way. Just to get her to start seeing how he was winning.
Okay, yeah. I think the snakes are gonna have been like now peering in at that one die in particular and watching it move. It's like, okay. It's like, I see. She's gonna look up at Amadeo and kind of give him a little grin too.
How did that get in there? My goodness. And he he takes them back very quickly.
Oops, wrong die. You play with these, sweetie.
Here, Moggs, follow the evidence.
Oh my god. Beautiful. Beautiful,
You
beautiful.
owe your captain for last night.
Yeah. All right. As you guys continue to move on, we'll say you guys play like another round, and is as in the middle of your next game, you kind of lose track of enough time to where you don't realize it until you look up, and you find that the ferry gondola is now approaching close enough to Thebes that you can really make out the details. The island itself sits on some really marvelous white cliffs. The tops of the cliffs probably are about 100 feet or so from the waves that crash against the bottom. Above that sits these beautiful white walls that go up another 200 feet from there, making this towering monument of a city. But even despite the height of the cliffside and the wall itself, you can see that there are buildings that seem to bubble up over the view of the city, almost as if they are sitting on these like sloping hills that are within. Just like in Thespes, you see that amongst the building there are large sails that are flapping gently in the breeze, kind of like the ones that they had used to shelter from the rain as it had poured down. But these kind of either sit as decoration as now as a sun shining day, while there are others that seem to move as they catch the wind. Not necessarily in a windmill kind of way, but almost like a twisting log that sits over some of the buildings, so that it's like this rolling, like almost like a like a dough roller, but it's just with all of these fins of fabric, colorful fabric that just kind of move over and over each other, turning these large wooden gears for who knows what. The docks themselves, as you approach, are 4 large stone docks that jut out into the sea from the northernmost tip of this island city. The steps at the dock, or I should say the edges of the dock itself, have stone steps that kind of go down into the water. And all of these little fishing boats, merchant vessels that can handle the shallow waters, and ferries are all starting to pulling up around this area. You see a bunch of like small reed fishing canoe vessels types, things that you would see maybe going down the Nile River, for example, but they use them to just kind of maneuver around the edges of the city and fish there in the shallows by the edges of the cliff sides. You can even see that there is the space where the ferry is approaching is currently cordoned off by guards, and you can see that there are amongst the other sections of the docks other cordoned off areas where it looks like special ships are only allowed to park here. Parking pass kind of situations where everybody else is kind of cramming around for a space to pull their vessel up to the docks. And as the ship maneuvers in closer, you can see there are some Triton dock hands that are throwing rope onto the deck and kind of tying it close so that you guys can start to disembark. You have arrived in the island city of Thebes. And here it is crowded AF.
I'm gonna put a hand on Cypress's shoulder. Whatever happens, we've got your back.
Thank you.
To emphasize that point, Laertes is going to very subtly pat Cypress's other shoulder as I cast Fortune's Favor.
Nice.
This is a beautiful place, Cypress.
Yes.
The
It's good to be home.
Yeah, I bet. There is a feeling within you, Cypress, that is both joyous and nauseatingly nervous, as you are both excited to see the familiar spaces of the docks of Thebes. The docks themselves are also crowded with people. Not only people, but you also see various like animals. You see the boxes and crates of various merchants that are bringing in their wares from the ships, and they have them stored on the dock. This area is filled. All 4 docks are just filled with people. It almost looks like you're stepping into maybe a market. Of all the docks that you guys have been to, this one seems like it's the most used for reasons beyond just ship going and coming. You can see that there are tradesmen and merchants that are in the process of making deals, shouting out their wares straight from the ship. For example, having them come aboard these small, beautiful ships that are just laden with all sorts of knickknacks. You can smell fish, you can smell spice, you can smell perfumes. It is a veritable feast of all senses here. You notice that the city guard, especially I would say Cyprus, as you kind of look at the city guard, seeing if they, you're not that you necessarily immediately expecting them to point you out and we go, you, but you try and you see if there's any sort of recognition. You see maybe 1 or 2 out of the 15 or so that you see immediately that you kind of recognize, that you have seen before. Not that you're familiar with every guard in the city, but you have seen some in passing, and some you're like, oh yeah, I've seen that guy. I know I've seen that guy, but they seem very much occupied in everybody else that's around versus you specifically. Their armor is white, almost pearlescent, with these green and gold edges and inlays. It's an extremely elegant looking armor that almost doesn't look as functional as it does fashionable, but it definitely bespeaks to the wealth of the city. And as the bunch of you begin to depart off the docks, Amadeo, you watch as the last of them reach the docks of Thebes. What do you do?
Amadeo probably doesn't get off the ship. Instead, he sort of gives them a wave as they are all disembarking. And says something to the extent of, "Good luck storming the city."
Out loud enough for everybody to hear.
Good luck with Amalene. You're going to need it more than we do.
I know.
Oh, it gets worse. And I just keep walking.
Oh, that I can't wait to see.
Thank you for a safe passage, Captain.
Of course. If you ever need any sort of mercenary work again, you know how to contact me. Just remember, I take 30% up front, and then I take 100% after.
I have no idea how to contact you.
What percentage do your exes take?
5, 10, 15, and 20. I keep a good amount.
Best of luck to you out there.
I do hope we cross paths again, Amadeo.
I do too. Maybe not the rest of your friends, but just the 5 of you, yes.
You never know. Maybe we'll have no friends for you to meet.
I hope not.
But what if they're profitable?
Well, I do things for money that I probably shouldn't do.
You'll probably enjoy the black market here. Don't go further in the gates. Or further up the docks. Once you pass the docks, you're in the domain of the queens.
Oh, I'm well acquainted with the black market here.
Makes sense.
How do you think they get supplied?
Exclusively you.
Someday exclusively me.
I now
Mark.
know how to gain favor with the queens. Farewell.
Mark, I expect a rematch sometime soon. You're only going to get stronger. I'm not going to defeat you next time.
Yeah. Yeah. Sure. there's like a little bit of waking up from their thoughts as they then just kind of like nod. Yeah, just I hope you like the taste of shorts.
What the?
And they don't leave anything to explain that, as they just kind of like shrug and then turn away.
I
We need to
think
work
in a
on your
few
banter.
thousand years, we're going to be explaining that comment with TBI.
I love it. Love it. Okay. Let me see here. Oh, I see. Okay. All right. Well, then as the crew departs and as more people board the ferry to head back to Thespia, we bid ourselves goodbye of Amadeo for the time being. Thank you,
The ship
friend.
is leaving. Goodbye.
It's always a joy to play with you, Martel.
How far back does that void go?
Not much further than this.
You got some distance out of it.
Oh my
Sometimes
God.
I can still hear his voice.
I didn't know the distance between Thebes and Thespia was literally like the length of
Oh,
a room.
he's gone over the horizon.
I can
We
almost
found that
still
waterfall where we found the atlas.
see. Beautiful. All right. We're gonna go to break really quick now. That way we can adjust all the
Aaron's
cameras
gotta
in a
fix his
minute.
screen.
I gotta fix everything here in a second. So we'll be right back, guys. Don't go anywhere. Oh my goodness.
Hey, really appreciate you helping us out back there.
Hey, of course, man. Is I'm gonna be well paid for this. Hey, where are we going, by the way?
Well, yeah, I wanted to apologize about that. We kind of got ahead of ourselves and went off world. So that flag, I take it it's important to you?
Yeah. Yeah, it's you know much about the clans?
Akin, I have a question.
What's up?
Why did you know where all these secret compartments were in the hangar when we were stealing the ship?
Yeah, my clan, we used to that used to be one of our strongholds, I guess.
Oh, it used to be yours?
Yeah.
Oh, we should have stole that back too.
We got
Sorry.
yeah, I guess you guys would know a little something about this. Empire came down on us too. Not as hard as the Jedi, but
I mean, I heard it was pretty terrible what they did. So
yeah.
I'm sorry.
Not a great
You
thing to have in
lost
common with someone.
touch with the rest of, or are you the only one left?
I'm not sure, but I think I'm the only one left.
Laura's gonna sort of like hit Alcura on like the arm, be like, "Jeez, you don't ask those questions."
No, I'm sorry. I was sure he was gonna say just okay. Yeah, I'm really sorry, Akin. I didn't mean to be blunt. I'm sorry.
Alcura, your swirling emotions center differently. There may not be this back and forth with light and dark, but the worry within you grows. The worry of the unknown. He looks over at Alcura. Where did you say you were from again? It's Kefbir, right?
Yeah, Kefir, yeah.
Have you gone there? You haven't been home in a long time. And now you start to wonder if you should have been home sooner. No. Alcura and Lore, you were the first to see in the distance the lines of smoke. And then you rise and pass over the cliff and down across the valley of grass and your home. And another pillar of smoke.
As we're hovering, I'm just gonna kind of stop and try to gauge Alcura's stability at the moment.
I think she's like really zoned in, like kind of like staring at like where her house is. I don't know, like I think, well, especially like like she grew up probably knowing like all her neighbors, so like already that's like she's probably really emotional from that and like worrying about them.
We could just not find out.
I can't not find out.
And you're sure you can handle whatever's down there?
Yeah.
All right.
Akin's gonna look at Alcura. He's gonna nod and say, "It's better to know."
I think I agree.
You guys start to approach the house. And as you get closer, you see something. A cordoned perimeter of posts with holographic panels that run to each one, kind of like caution tape, but they are red. And they, in Arabesh, goes across saying, by order of the Emperor, all traitors are to be dealt with to the full extent of the might of the Galactic Empire. A voice comes from a speaker that has been placed on the countertop.
let this be a lesson to you. There is a new age in the galaxy. One that demands order and respect for peace and prosperity. These citizens were enemies to that peace. They spat on a future of prosperity. The Jedi known as Van Ethan and Isidus Morrison, member of a galactic crime syndicate, have been dealt with. Long live the Empire.
Yeah, like Alcura's like searching through every room at this point, pretty frantic, and like at one point she's like, "What does dealt with mean?" And
Turns to one of the walls and she's gonna just like punch it as hard as she can.
she just like immediately like looks over and like rushes over.
Pry it open. And there within the inside at the very back and things is a little black and green box.
Yeah, I'll take it out.
You open it. And you feel your heart shift again, seeing these remnants of your family.
I'm like rummaging through everything. And I like kind of like hold it up. And I'm like, okay, found some stuff. Comm unit, this is my dad's. I don't know why he would have locked it away before whatever just happened. Does anyone know the cool tech stuff to like
want me to
maybe
take a
see?
look?
Yes, please.
Well, we got a new heading.
Yeah. If you all feel safe enough to do that.
As long as the Empire is in control, there's not a damn place in the world that's safe.
That's good.
That's the
points.
truth.
We
Meow, 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 meow,
You saw
meow. Okay. Sorry, Pip. Yes, but yes. No, I'm glad. I had forgotten that I had renamed the teaser from the same name as the last one, so I thought it was the one like 2 before that I had done. I was like, oh, it's just the one of the older ones. I was like, oh no, that was the last one that I had made. It was a lot longer than I had remembered. Nice. Okay. Let us adjust some things here. Put some of these people in the background a little bit.
Did you just posture check ourselves streaming?
Yeah, we needed to stretch.
We do,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's fine. Phrase.
Did you say phrasing?
Taco
Well,
said it,
no,
but I
'cause
don't
I
know
Taco
to
said it.
what.
Oh,
Who knows?
No, I'm gonna leave that one alone.
All right. I think everybody, all the names are where they're supposed to be, ish. I just gotta move this, and we're set. All right, cool. Alrighty. Where were we? All right. Okay. Yes, so you now find yourself here on the docks as you prepare to enter into the city of Thebes itself. All right. Okay. Okay. All right. Mix. All right. Hey, Macarena. Yeah. Exactly. Let us calm this down a little bit. Okay. The dock area, like I said, is pretty packed with people, and you hear Cypress's word of saying how, like, kind of beware of the area, and you can kind of get a feeling for why, as you are now hustled and jostled around as you make your way towards the 4 large gates that lead into the city itself. Right thing up. These large, you can see these large gates as they sit at the base or just past the base of these docks, are probably almost a good 100 feet across. They are massive gates, and you can see that there's like a metal fashioned portcullis that still hangs at this like curved angle, so that the gates themselves are not like straight down. This wall kind of sits like this at a curve, and the same with the portcullis that looks like jaws of a shark that looks like it's about to encompass the whole of the dock. But you see that people are slowly like shuffling through, some of them pushing carts, some of them with beasts of burden that are like laden down with various I want to say artifacts, because they're not really artifacts at this time. They are new and shining. But you see like the pottery, the bronze, and even some gold, like plates, pans, vases, like all of these ornamentations and treasures that are just being taken into the city and out. This is a very opulent place. You can see that among all of the city guard here, this is one of the few cities where you see maybe less humans than Genasi. There are plenty of Tritons. There are plenty of some of the other races. But it seems almost that humans are more scarce here than they are at any of the other places. And the city guard that stand near the docks all seem to be water genasi. You can see their hair kind of floating up from around the helmets here and there. The blues of their skin kind of shimmering in the sunlight as it catches that same white pearlescentness of the armor. They all basically look like Sonder, but, you know, that's just a weird byproduct of everything. But
like the idea we're just sort of clone stamping Sonder.
Face. Yeah.
you see it in
AI has gone too far.
In animation where like they have the guard and they're always like eyeless and just have this rest of this down is the only animated part. It's all Sonder like from the face down. It's just you can't tell.
But it's Sonder, so he's trying to take the helmet off. It's a me.
Supposedly Astarion looks like Sonder too.
It's wild. Cypher's like, wait, what?
You know, if you rearrange the letters of Asterion, it spells Sonder.
Oh shoot! Wait. In a way, yeah, doesn't it? No. We'll see how close I can get.
Beautiful.
If you rearrange and then change and remove a bunch
does
of
get
letters,
fairly
then it
close.
gets-
It's more like saunter, I think, is what you're gonna get. Beautiful. Okay.
to the gates, then.
To the gates. You see as you go through the gates, there is there's not quite a queue to like get in. There are some guards that are kind of watching on either side of the procession from each of the 4 entrances, as you see there's actually a decent amount of guards here on the inside of the gate. They kind of sit, there's like this, you realize how thick the wall is itself. The gate and to the edges of the wall goes in probably about 200 feet. It's a really thick foregate, if you will. And as they go in on this shaded inside of the wall, there are probably 20 to 30 guards just stationed throughout, as they're like, some of the merchants are asking for directions. Some of the people that are trying to go by. It's almost like when you go out of Walmart and there's that one, the person who checks the the receipts. It's almost kind of like that, and sometimes they ask you, and sometimes they don't. It's just kind of randomized. You're like, why are you asking me? But they seem to be just kind of asking random people, what's your business here in Thebes? Where are you going? And two such guards approach your crew as you guys are walking in. You see these two are actually glowing a bit as they are both fire genasi. They seem to come up. They come up to you guys, and one of them they stops in front of you with his hands up, and the other one comes up to you guys on his side and just like, "What brings you to Thebes?"
Cypress, over his shoulder, looks at the group, and then turns back. We wish to speak with the queens.
Up until this point, they hadn't really stopped to look at you, as you look more like the soldier or the guard that is with the group of people, and less so the voice they expected to hear speak. And now this one particular man looks over at you, and then he kind of does a second take. Wait. You look familiar somehow. Have we seen you before?
Cypress will say in Primordial, "You may recognize me, child of the flame. I am Cypress."
Their eyes widen. Weren't you told not to come back to the city?
I was.
Then why are you here?
He's here escorting the Pythia to be. She has a message for the queens.
They're speaking in Primordial.
Oh, shit. Never mind.
Circumstances have been met for me to return.
In Primordial, Astrid's gonna say, and I'm witness to this. We all are.
They look at each other for a moment, and then they're like, we will have to verify this with the... And as they're speaking, Ma'al comes around. Wait. Before you go and confirm, and I say the term loosely as I'm sure you are only going to walk about 20 feet away and then come back and tell us that we are not allowed inside the city. Tell your precious queens that Ma'al Saj'ul is here. And I have, she looks at everybody, a tale to tell of my journey that has brought me to Thebes thus far. Please make haste, my old bones. You know what? On second thought, do not make haste. You are to accompany me to the queens. She turns to everybody else. I will go and speak. I will wait for word in the Agora district. She looks over at Cyprus. Are you aware of the place called the Jeweled Street Cart? And you're like, no. This is not a place you have heard of. Well, go find the Jeweled Street Cart. Tell them Ma'al has a few guests that need to be taken care of for a time. And I will find you or send word to you as soon as I am able. Is this agreeable to everyone? She has said this all in Hellenic. The font.
Cypress like gets close to her. I don't know where the Jeweled Street Cart is. Where's that?
Go to the Agora district. You will find it. Just ask around. It might have been a little new. Or perhaps your...
Agora. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you, Mal.
Thank you, Mal.
Do not thank me yet. I'm simply returning the favor for allowing me to... Well, participate would be a strong word, but view your stories thus far?
Document.
There you
Keep us
go.
alive.
You're one of us as far as I'm concerned, Mal.
I am not. But I
A
appreciate the
vicarious
sentiment.
adventurer.
I'm going to sort of point at the bag of holding that's sort of slung over me like a satchel. Just remember, I have your other work on me.
Cute that you think so. Anyway, I will be going. You are
Oh,
to
so I can
walk
just burn
me.
this then.
She looks over at Cypress and she goes, "Not all of us old people are that evil." She turns around and walks away.
One of the few exceptions.
She's the most evil. That's what she was trying to say.
Oh, I wasn't referring to her.
There is definitely a not a sudden change. There is a change in her demeanor and the way she walks. Not that she was necessarily putting on a facade before, but you see that she walks a little straighter, walks a little more with purpose. And she grabs one of the guards' arms to kind of hold her as they walk. She was definitely given a presence of, I'm not taking no for an answer. And they, in return, as they are walking away, are kind of like looking at themselves, like, what just happened, as they continue to walk into the city. Davos comes over to you, Cypress, and it's just like, I felt a little intimidated by that, did you?
Oh, yes. You mean her, right?
Yes. That came out of nowhere. Well, shall you show us your home then, I guess? Theban?
I suppose so. Spartan. Welcome to Thebes.
As you
Cypress
guys
will start walking ahead.
Yeah. I'll do this one, not this one, this one, not this one. All right. As you guys are walk through the underside of the wall and out into the inside of the wall, you are greeted with a beautiful visage of a city that looks like it's on the slope of a hill. If you are facing the inside directly to you, on your right hand side, you'll see this large, like a retention wall, where on the top you can see that there is these beautiful white, oh no, the word's gone again, plastered buildings that are so white that they almost shine in a pearlescent manner, making you believe that the plaster itself was made with pearls, the way they catch and reflect the light. Up on their terraces, you can see various gardens that hang down from both pots and balconies. The ivies of flowers that are these brilliant hues of pinks and purples as they climb up the columns that are innately decorated. My words are so bad.
Ornately?
Ornately. Thank you. Oh, I'm getting it. I'll get there. As they are decorated in such a way, you see. Let's see here. You see that this large retention wall itself has a beautiful inlay of mosaic tiles that basically in like really fancy cursive-y looking Hellenic say like welcome to Thebes. But it's like this, it's basically like when you enter a theme park, you know, you almost expect that huge sign that says where you're walking into. And you see a majority of the people that are walking past it don't even look. But as you guys are kind of following this procession into what does appear to be a secondary checkpoint, almost customs gate, where you can see the merchants and are being split off from citizens, as there are various guards that are inspecting wares, looking through boxes, looking inside of covered cart wagons, and just kind of just going over everything. Cyprus, though you are aware that this kind of stop for merchants is normal, you do notice that there is a larger guard presence here so far that you've entered into the city than you've ever seen in Thebes before.
Cyprus, your home is beautiful.
Yes. It does seem that there are more guards about.
Maybe that's a good thing.
Unlikely.
If they've heard of what's happened in the other cities and they're prepared for should the worst come.
It's definitely a possibility.
You continue to walk through with the rest of the regular citizens who are going through the checkpoint. There's a very obvious sense of eyes are on you as you guys pass by. The number of guards here that are just kind of watching everybody as they go in. They keep a very close watch on everybody as they pass. And you see one or two Themisto that kind of like peer down to try and get a look at your face, as I'm sure you are hooded at the moment, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You can kind of see that they kind of like, they don't make a fuss of it, but you can definitely see that some of them kind of lean down to try and get a visual as to who is passing in to their city. I have a map right here. As you pass in to this section, this avenue that is now, because you guys have moved over to that retention wall is on the right hand side, the customs is kind of on the left, and as you pass through there is this slowly angled step that you can walk up towards as you walk towards the back of this what would be the southern sections of the city. There is a very gentle slope to the entirety of this place. You can see that at the very back end of the city, the palace of Kedmea is seated in such a way that it overlooks the entirety of the rest on the way down. And so you, from the bottom of the city, as you are looking up, are able to see almost all of the major landmarks, you could say, as you walk up this direction. Along this left side of the city, as you're passing along this avenue, you see the various temples. There would be kind of what would be considered a temple corridor, almost, as like temples sit on each side of this passage as it climbs up. After you would pass a temple, another avenue branches off to the right to go deeper into the city, and there's still a bustling amount of people everywhere, but you can see that there is almost a larger street that kind of just like curves its way through the temple corridor as it then moves over to the opposite side where the agora section is. And as you're walking, you see you see the large temple complexes. You see temples to Apollo, Dionysus, Poseidon, Zeus, Hera, Demeter, even Hades and Aphrodite have large temples here. And spread amongst them, you can see various smaller temple-like structures, even some shrines to more gods than you can imagine. Some of them of Hellenic nature, some of them from Kemet, some of them from seemingly lands beyond. Laertes, what were you going to say?
Are there any that we would expect to see that we actually don't?
I I don't think so.
Okay.
I think most all of the major deities are represented here. And even so, and that's why I said even the lesser ones, they'll have like a statue in front of one of the other temples or a small shrine. The city of Thebes is really big on gardens, you see, as it has a lot of like water features that have the water that flows in from one area to another in these well, you could say, I guess you could call it man-made, but these man-made like channels, right, that just kind of continue to stream down, and then the water filters off into little pools that has fountains that spit water back up into the air. Themisto, what were you gonna say?
Just some little flavor remarks.
Sure.
Such a gathering of the gods. What a divine place this is, huh? And she will look at the Temple of Apollo in particular. Of course, let her gaze linger on it for a while.
Yeah.
Go. Phoebe, look how it glistens. Apollo's light is strong here.
A little bit stays that way. Maybe better close to getting to see him again.
I am so sure of it.
You say that it glistens, but that's kind of almost an understatement. Of all the temples you have seen on your journey so far, the temples here in Thebes, something is very peculiar about them. Not only in the sense that, as Cypress had stated once upon a time, about their construction the construction in the city being made by the artisans of the elementals, how they would almost seem to grow or mold the rock versus carve from it. For the knowing eye, the trained eye, I suppose, there are elements of this construction that seem to date back to the First Kingdom. You have seen ruins of First Kingdom or Origin and Make. It would appear, with a decent enough intelligence, that these were almost originals, and all the temples of the gods after were like copies of, or like where they had almost kind of modeled a little bit of it to fit the other parts of Greece, or the temples that you later on see in other parts of Greece. It looks old, but its construction is so unique. Even in the materials themselves, most of the other buildings, while we as players know how well crafted and meticulously crafted those things were, particularly to have lasted for centuries and beyond, the craftsmanship of those temples pales to the kind of craftsmanship that you find here. Indeed, the down to the marble that was used in the columns itself, it seems to almost quartz-like catch the light that comes in from the day and suffuse it out around it so that the temples do indeed seem to glow. There are scroll works and like the little reliefs of the statues that are up near the top that seem to tell the stories of the various gods. These are made with what looks like jades and polished stones in such a way that they almost seem to come to life in a way that is just different stone instead of paint in their construction. And this is true of all of them, of even down to Hades' more dour looking or somewhat gothic in style, if you could. Even it has its own beauty in the way that it is constructed with the darker stone.
As we pass the Apollo release, I'm gonna kind of very quietly say, "Wow, you made them make you look so cool, and really you're just a big nerd."
That as you
But
guys
it shines the way you do.
as you guys pass these temples that are on this main corridor, you branch off into your right, and as you pass some of them, you see that this temple corridor also contains houses and living abodes. They are different than the garden-like homes that you see at the very beginning. It's very much like you see that Thebes kind of wants to put their best foot forward, so all the prettiest of things are right as you enter. So you have like these beautiful residential areas that have all these hanging garden style decor. You see the temples with their beautiful creation architecture, but even the houses that live on the outside of these temple complexes, they have a different feel. They definitely feel more temple-like, but they do so in still their own beauty kind of way. But moving there into the Agora, this is where Thebes really gets to show where its heart is. Whereas the Hanging Gardens and the Temple Corridor are its opulence is not the right word. But they're the showier, flashier side. This is where the heart and soul of Thebes lives. You see the
opus.
yeah.
No,
This is, but yeah, I know you get what I mean. You see, hold on, let me.
The piece de resistance.
There you go. Here in the Agora is where the main market is. You see that there are these beautifully large columns that create like a ring around where the bazaar or market is, and it is as colorful and as beautiful as you would imagine something to match everything that is around it. But this is where most of the citizens of Thebes come together. Both as the artisans here who are showing off their wares, whether they are painters or sculptors. You see people of learning, philosophers, who are like having small discourses to the point where there might be, not that Laertes would stop walking with everybody, but you kind of almost want to like listen in on what they are talking about, as you see one person is standing on a small soapbox, we'll say, so to speak, and they're like talking to a couple of people that are just like stroking these long beards and like listening to the thoughts and ideas that are being talked back and forth. Some of them are.
It's all just
It's
rules and
bullshit.
strategies for playing backgammon.
What you need to do is you gotta play the little pieces like this.
Oh no, the old man voice is back already.
But as was stated before, you see that a majority of the people here are elemental in nature, whether they are air, fire, water, or earth. In the variations of their coloration and the variations of their elemental design, it is definitely a switch from the world that seems to be on the outside of Thebes. A true different space where you can almost, for a moment, forget everything else that you have encountered up until this point. Every other dark and recessed creature that crawls in the underbrush doesn't even seem to exist anymore as you walk through this city. But it is only by the reality of the fact that you have seen these things that you kind of had to toy or tear your mind back and forth. I lost my place. Well, yeah. So even here with the merchants, like everybody seems to just be gathering to show off their wares, whether it is physical or verbal in nature. You start here as you begin to try and ask around for the jeweled street cart, a peculiar name for whatever it is that Ma'al told you to wait here for.
If Cypress seems hesitant to ask, I'll go play the like naive tourist card and be like, I don't know where I'm going.
Beautiful. I just caught up with chat. That was great. Thank you, Elvie. Yes. I love that. Okay. As you start to go ahead and ask around, make a charisma
Just like a
check.
general charisma.
Yeah.
That's really bad. Do I use my inspiration now?
To be more charismatic.
Yeah.
That's up to you.
That was the exact same roll. Cool.
No.
A 6.
Okay.
So this is not like asking for help in the Deep South. This is like asking for help in Paris and you're asking in English.
The tower.
Which they actually prefer, as opposed to you speaking French badly.
Okay.
Oui, la bibliothèque.
Just like that. You will say you happen to ask a particularly large earth genasi. I was gonna say girthy, and then I decided that was a route that I was not going to take. We're gonna turn left.
But you still went there.
I still said
You
it,
still
but at
should.
least I didn't.
How are you spelling girthy, Janasi?
With I don't know.
G-earthy.
G-earthy. Hey, I like that. Oh God. Anyway,
G stands for guy, yeah.
yeah. And you kind of ask him where the jeweled street, basically, Ink. You ask him where this jeweled streetcar is, and he kind of looks down at you with a questioning face. A jeweled streetcar? I have not heard of a jeweled streetcar.
A friend said I needed to go, so I'm just trying to find it. But now I'm thinking maybe she tricked me.
I mean, probably, but I will ask around. If you will stay here.
Does he seem trustworthy, or is it like a stay here? I'm just gonna go that way.
You can make an insight check.
Sure, maybe I'll roll better, maybe not. I rolled a little bit better, but my modifier is better, so a 12.
Yeah, the latter. He's like, I'm just gonna go over there. Just yeah.
Well, I tried.
You guys kind of start. You're like, how hard could it be, right? You guys just wander around.
Yeah.
Is all the signage, or furthering, is there signage of any kind?
Make a perception check.
Okay. Natural 20 for 26. I'm wasting all my nat 20s on nonsense bullshit tonight. And it really matters. It's going to be all nat 1s.
You notice that there's not, in the way that you would normally expect. There are no signs that say, Ivory Boulevard or anything of that sort. What you do notice is that the tiles and bricks that make up the paved roads within the building or around these buildings are color coded almost. You start to notice patterns in the different neighborhoods, basically, that they have different coloration to the tiles on the ground. Yeah, there's almost like this line of paint that goes along the bottom of most of these buildings that, with a very astute eye, you realize kind of give directions in a nonverbal way. Kind of like the way you see, kind of like the way you see in video games where it's like the lit way is the way to go sort of scenario. That is, to an extent, you see that there are certain color patterns that are used in front of homes. There are certain color patterns that are used in front of what seems like restaurants or shops. Each one seems to have its own distinct coloration. And above the door, there will be, you know, the name of such and such shop or the name of this particular eatery or whatnot. But as far as like signs themselves, it seems that you're kind of having to go by a color coding. And you start to notice what looks like homes. And then there's some that you see that are adjacent colored to like homes, house to hospitality sort of thing. So you start to look for the colors that kind of match that. And as you continue to search with this newfound information, go ahead and make a survival check with advantage. Okay. As you are kind of like, you're like, I have an idea.
That's a 5 with advantage.
Dang.
There's the balance.
Oh man, yeah.
Well, this is fair. As you are walking around, you see 2 more, we'll say call them landmarks here. You find the large circular, almost like Roman Colosseum styled Theater of the Muses. A very fancy and ornate theater. You can see that it is situated in such a way that the palace that sits on the hill above it can look down onto the stage. So anybody from the palace can actually watch from where they sit within the palace grounds itself. But you hear as you are roaming around the agora section that there is a sort of gentle music that is being played that seems to float around the city, almost in the, like, you know, when you go to a theme park and they just have music that comes from the the shrubbery because they have speakers planted all over the place. There's a little bit of that vibe, and you kind of subliminally don't even realize that it's playing until you get closer to the theater and you realize that there is a musical group that is playing currently. It seems like Suddenly Goats has arrived here once again.
I was going to ask if Oretino was streaking on stage.
No, but this seems more like a band that is practicing for a performance, but the practicing of the music is very gentle, but you realize that the acoustics and perhaps some sort of other enchantment create a way where that music kind of fills the streets everywhere you walk within the Agora district. Even if it's not loud, it's just enough to where you can kind of pick it up, and then the closer you get to the theater itself, the louder it becomes.
Damn Cineplex Odeon.
You also pass another interesting area, the 7 Gates within Thebes. A small, almost pavilion that stands as a part ornamentation, almost as a memorial as well. You will say that for all intents and purposes, there is a tour guide group that is coming through here, and they kind of, in the explanation of, as they are like, we're now passing the 7 Gates of Thebes. If you look to your left, like, you know, you kind of just overhear a little bit of what is being talked about. There is 7 distinct gates that sit around, very exactly placed in a circle. Each gate has a different appearance to it. Not maybe overtly drastic for some, because some seem to mirror each other a little bit, but have different minor differences here and there. Others are very different in design. You can hear that someone who is currently explaining to these traveling merchants is explaining that the hold on, let me get back here. That they stood for 7 realms of the ancient world, of the first kingdom, and thus each style has a different theme to it. Each one is supposedly a remnant of architecture that is to be found, that was found in this ancient kingdom, and through very arduous preservation means, they have kept a semblance of their original glory. But it is said that of all the cities of the first kingdom, all the major cities contained within them 7 gates, and that this is the only remaining structure that memorializes those 7 gates of the now lost realms of the world outside of Greece. Larities, what were you gonna say?
Other than the fact that this reminds me of some of the builds Ranger does in Conan Exiles.
Yes.
But
a little bit.
Is there any symbolism and/or symbology on these gates that would look rather familiar to some of the things that Hecate has done in front of him?
Make either Arcana or History check with advantage, whichever one.
Arcana would be the best for me. Unnatural 30.
I need to stop letting you do these Arcana rolls. They're getting ridiculous.
Hey, he can't tie his own shoes. He can do this, all right? Let him have something.
Let him have it. Fair.
He sneezes, he's in traction for a month.
He
all
just
right?
can't
And give him a
untie his
break.
shoes with his. He can't tie his shoes with his hands. He can tie it with his mind, though.
You look around, and you realize that some of these gates do look familiar in the sense of the way they are set up. There aren't any leftover runes on any of them, but their design does bring to mind the look of some of the gates that Hecate has created, or that she has used, at least in transportation. Most of these are made of stone. Some are plaster. There's even some that are wood. For the player's visualization, some of them look Greek. Some of them look Egyptian in style. Some have more of a Nordic, like wood and stone vibe to them, where they have like dangling bits of bone or stone or petrified wood that hang down around the edges. Others, no, you're good. Others even have you know how in a lot of Japanese architecture there's that like sloped
Like a
out
pagoda
ridges,
roof
yeah,
type.
pagoda roof style. Some even have it made with stone, but have that similar like pagoda stylization to them, to where each one, while some, like I said, some look similar or familiar, at least some of them do look different, foreign, we'll say, to some of you as well. The Misto.
Probably a long shot, but does any of the architecture remind me of the brief glimpse of the passageways of Gaia the planet? Like Gorgani architecture at all?
No, nothing like that you have seen. These gates are, we'll say, somewhat smaller. They only stand about like 15 feet at the height of the inside of the loop. Whereas a little bit of the visualization that you had of the Gorgani ones were much larger.
So this is the domestic concourse as opposed to international.
Basically, basically, one could surmise, but with that, roll Laertes. The way that the tour guide was describing it made it seem like this was more of a recreation of, or a putting together of, the ruins to try and match what was made at one time.
So this is a little like how the way we see Stonehenge now is more after we already found it on the ground and they kind of just put it back together thinking that's what it actually is supposed to look like.
Kind of. That's what's the way it's being described.
Mm-hmm.
You having had personal contact with a lot of ruins of the, I'll say the First Order, of the First Kingdom, in particular, especially lately, this looks correct. This doesn't look like this doesn't give you the vibe of a recreation. Like, if you had to guess, this looks like an original Seven Gates concourse.
Mm-hmm.
Just it's
like the temples. It looks like this has stood the test of time.
Yes.
Okay.
To that point, now that you are focused in on this, and with that 30, there is a hum to the air. It is not the same as standing by one of the obelisks on Atlas, but it is darn near close. In the sense that now that you're looking around and you kind of put your finger on it, you've been feeling this hum and vibration in the air since you walked inside the city gates. It was just kind of, it's easy enough to pass off as the excitement or nerves that you feel inside of being in a new city, of being in the presence of all of these things. It is in that same vein of, you realize that was not the sensation you were feeling. You were feeling that the air itself within the city of Thebes walls vibrates with an energy akin to that of being next to one of the obelisks of the First Kingdom.
Yes, just listening and trying to write notes, just making sure I got something correct. So it's not just the gates that I'm feeling. That's just it's everything.
You at first you're like, oh, there's power here in this area, and then as your brain focuses in on that sensation and you kind of walk around as you're looking at the gates itself, you realize that this sensation's been with you the whole time you've been walking the city. It's just you kind of had just been like, I'm not going to suppose that Laertes is any bit excited to be in the city of Thebes, but I'm imagining there's a little bit of nervousness, excitement, and like a buzz of that feeling of impending dread of like, what are you going to find kind of thing. And so all of those emotions kind of ramped up enough to where it felt like that's what you were feeling and that's what you imagined that vibration was within you. But now you're just realizing that as you are calmer, that is actually just the vibration of the air. And it is in that sense of there's something of immense power here. But it is not just located around one object. It has been since you've been within the walls.
Now, I'm not sure if I'm going to get this, but is it just that I'm feeling it around me, or does it feel like it's radiating from below?
It's hard to tell. It is so much everywhere that it is you can feel it on your skin as much as you feel it on the soles of your feet.
Okay.
Thebes is
the thing.
Yeah.
Oh, and we're gonna do one more thing. Sorry.
Sure, no, you're fine.
How close are we into the middle of the city?
You are basically in its center.
Okay. Oh, then I'm gonna do the awful thing. I'm gonna try and extend my senses out and see if I can pick up the plague anywhere.
Okay.
Get that soda ping going.
You place your hand on one of the edges of the rings that's the gates closest to you, as you then kind of focus out your sensations, trying to see if you can feel anything that would make your stomach drop. And there's this weird resonance to your mind that makes your eyes wince, like something is tugging at the cords at the back of your eyeballs and slowly twisting them. Not in necessarily a painful way, but just in that like uncomfortable, like, ah. And you realize that whatever energy that you are sensing is skewing your senses. You feel like you can sense something, but it is almost like interference or static to what you are listening to or what you normally sense. The amount of power that is resonating from this place is throwing off your senses, and that is terrifying.
Is it like what is it, like overstimulation kind of thing? Where just
kind of
like sensory overload?
Yeah. Yeah, and
I imagine he gets a little woozy in place. The only reason why he hasn't fallen to the ground is because he was already leaning against the rock or pillar or whatever
Now
this is.
grab his arm and you're all right.
I don't know. I'll lean into her, but I'm still looking around. But I imagine it's a little like that. Considering what I've been feeling like the last couple of days, a little bit like that migraine aura.
Yeah.
Just can't quite focus for a second. Lean into her where I think she is.
And if I'm not, I'll match you wherever.
But I'm trying to go away because it gets bouncing the wrong direction. I tried to sense it.
And?
Well, like all that power felt on the island, the obelisk. It's dwarfed by what I feel here. I'm not sure if I'm able to sense it or I'm just getting so much feedback off of just everything else. I feel like all my senses are scrambled every time I try to reach out.
Could it be using that to its advantage? Because I'm assuming that these gates are gates. Or at
That
least
was my
were at one
guess.
point.
Maybe. I feel like they're original.
We need to find this Jeweled Street card and get you tea or perhaps something stronger.
But I'm wondering if that's an answer for why we're here or just incidental.
We'll try again when things are quieter.
We'll see.
Astrid, I think you're right.
I would say he probably looks a little paler than he did a few moments ago. Just that overwhelming shock to the senses. Just, okay, just gonna close my eyes. Just let someone else lead for a minute.
Here, lean on me. We'll go send someone more charming than me to ask around.
Okay. And he's just lean.
I think we'll be hard pressed to find that.
Cypress, make a perception check for me.
Gosh, I don't have my dice sign an utter amateur. That is. You said perception?
Mm-hmm.
A 15.
Beautiful. You guys walk over to one of the little gardened alcoves of the area, and you see probably about like a block up the street, going along the kind of close to the wall. You see a building that has a lot of what's called awnings, like these really fine silks and things that kind of gives it a traveling caravan style look to it. And your eyes kind of narrow for a second. Wait a minute. You don't remember this here before.
That might be what we're looking for. He'll
Lead the
walk
way.
towards it. Yeah.
As you get closer, you can see that this building was at one time probably an apartment sized. It's got dwellings for maybe 3 to 4 families. It's a decently sized building, but it is all in itself. Like, it almost gives not quite circus tent in the way that the awnings hang out from all the sides, but in that sense of like, it's definitely meant to catch the eye. And as you get closer, you see that indeed the front area, what would be like the front yard basically of this space, has a bunch of throw rugs that have been placed out with a bunch of pillows to sit around, small bowls that look like they could hold almost like empty braziers that look like they could hold stuff in them themselves. And you see they're scrawled in a script that you don't recognize, and then scrawled under that script in Hellenic, you do see the jeweled cart, the jeweled street cart.
Up. Yep.
Up. Yep. That's the one. Bring everybody over.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Okay.
So, Cypress, were you in town often, or did you mostly stay in the palace?
I spent different parts of my life in different areas. Definitely know the place decently well, but have some that I haven't been in for longer periods.
Well, how does it feel knowing Ma'al was here at the same time you were, probably? She's just been following you around the whole time.
Utterly bizarre.
She's been just watching you.
Another reason not to trust older people.
Maybe the way to think of it is that she's your first fan.
The first one writing the stories of everything Cypress has done.
As you guys approach, you see the front door opens, and a man of shorter stature walks out, dressed in these fine decorated silks. He has this really big puffy hat on top of his head, and with his chest billowed up high. This is, by the way, a gnome. He comes up and is just like, "Welcome to the Jewel Street Cart. I am Actor, and I am here to make sure that you spend a glorious time within the realm of the Jeweled Street Cart. Please take a seat wherever you like."
Ma'al, remind me your last name.
Sajul.
Sajul. Ma'al Sajul sent us.
You see, he's in the middle of a bow, and he goes, "Ma'al's here.
She is?
Here.
Did we beat her here? Where is she?
No, I think she...
He
would
said
not
she
have
wanted
visited
to
us.
collect her debts.
Oh, I mean, yes, of course. He swallows. I will definitely be able to do that for you all. Just a moment. I must go
I
speak with
couldn't
my...
resist.
Just a moment. I have to go speak with my brothers. He starts like backing up and going backwards up the stairs, fumbling for the doorknob before he opens and closes it and leaves it shut.
He's gonna lock it from the inside and they're gonna leave out the back.
I was just expecting this place to sort of implode into a suitcase, and he's just running down the street.
That is certainly not the reaction I expected from Hector there.
Honestly, I'm not that surprised. Mal is kind of scary in a good way, though.
You remember what happened when we ran into Oretano, yes?
Mm.
Like, I expect she leaves that sort of everywhere.
The door
You
opens
think
once.
Hector is a
Just gonna
former lover?
chuckle.
You see,
Maybe not former.
you see the door opens and another gnome comes out. This one looking slightly older than the last, but almost like a Russian doll, like just slightly older.
Does he
It's
have like the fake
size.
glasses and mustache?
No, this one's he's got a real mustache. It curls like this. He comes over and almost comes over and like walks over to you guys. So you all are guests of Mal, I hear.
Yes.
Perfect. What would you like? What can we do to help you rest your feet, or are you looking for somewhere to stay, perhaps, or just a passing beverage? What would you like?
I think beverages for now. Maal is coming to meet us later.
Oh, beautiful. She's coming here. Excellent. Well,
And I think I'm gonna say it with just like, again, the most innocent, like sweet smile, like nothing's wrong. Like we don't know what you're freaking out over.
well, if you need anything, you've already met Hector, my brother. I am Akamos. Did she tell you who we are, or what did she tell you exactly?
We've been left completely in suspense.
Oh, okay. Well, in that case, then that's probably not so bad then. Okay. Well, he swallows. We are 5 brothers that oversee the Jeweled Street Cart. We are hoping to become the finest house of hospitality in Thebes. We're still new. And it was thanks to Maal's generosity that we were able to acquire this place. So we kind of owe her just a little bit. But probably not as much as she might let you believe. But yes, either myself or any of my brothers, if you shout our names, then we will come out and bring you whatever you like. I will go and tell Actis that he has some people to take care of. What is preferences, dietary restrictions, anything that I should be aware about before we go and fix you something?
My friend Laertes here needed something to perk him up. What are you feeling today, Laertes?
Gee, has caffeine been invented yet, Aaron?
Yes, sure.
Like, chemically, I know it exists, but I'm just, it has the process of distilling it as a drink.
It started in Ethiopia, so let me.
Sure. It's fantasy. We'll say yes.
You know, some pieces from the Old Kingdom made it over.
Yeah, exactly.
It ebbed and flowed.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, something to perk you up. I believe I have just the thing. Right. I will go and get you. Do you all want to be perked up, or just our lovely friend? What was it you said, Laertes?
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't mind some, thank you.
Okay.
I will pass, but thank you.
Two perks. Any more perks?
Do you have a special today?
He realizes he has not asked. He's like, I'm sure we do. Let me go and get Actus. He is the cook. I am not. I will be right back. And he like turns and walks up the stairs really quick, opens the door, shuts it behind him.
Actor, Akamo, acting. And what the other 2 brothers are named.
So, do you think Maal was a prominent local critic before she became a historian?
Perhaps. There's so many things we're learning about there.
I enjoy the idea that she was a food critic.
She seems to believe in these gnome brothers enough to get their business going.
Yes, or to spread a good word about them, maybe.
It's not but a couple minutes. You're far enough away that most of the general hubbub of the city is like on a street away. Like you can still hear the gentle murmur of the crowds as they move about the Agora district. But here, this building is basically set up almost directly against the wall. So it's almost like a little bit quieter. As you survey the area around you, you're able to see that as you're sitting facing out on your right, you're going to see where the palace is. And that would be where probably, I'm imagining, Cyprus keeps looking up at the palace of Kedmea. It is both fortress and palace. And it is, like the temples, built in such a way that it, for the players, would seem almost out of place with ancient Greek times. It's just enough to where you can see the resemblances of everything else that is built around in the surrounding countrysides, but just different enough to be its own unique design as well. You see the columns, you see the sloped tiled rooftops, both made of wood and tile. Just in front of that, you can see these two large towering pylons, almost similar in height to the obelisks, but not in the sense that these are round and tiered, like a really, well, thin is not the right term, but a really thin tiered cake. It just kind of keeps going up and then tiers and then tiers and then tiers and just continues and continues and continues for several hundred feet. And hanging from that, you can see various greenery. And occasionally, you see the flitting of a person or an individual go from tier to tier with what looks like baskets, collecting either fruit or vegetables. These are these large garden-like constructions that are just in front of the temple. And as you are watching all of these things, oh my God. Well, hello. Good to see you, Hecko Gecko. It has been an age! But good to see you. Happy New Year's.
Look, I have snakes for hair.
Yes, snakes. I lost my whole train of thought. Oh, yes, there's the tower, these tiered towers of like gardens, these literal hanging gardens. And it is shortly as your eyes are kind of watching these people that are like jumping from tower to tower or floating gently downwards. Air Genasi, no doubt. That you see, or you hear the door open. And as the door opens, and you see that Actor has returned with a small tray of goods. Here you go. From the compliments of the chef Actis, he has provided for you a beverage that will surely make your brain melt. No, that wasn't what he said. He said make your brain do something amazing. It will definitely perk you up, whatever it is that he made. And it smells like coffee.
I'm just thinking that maybe one of the few things he got to have from home was like Turkish coffee, or like the early prototype of that.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome.
Close enough. Thank you.
Also, we bring to you small little sweet treats. Basically the equivalent of Turkish delight. So it's almost like a little jelly with powdered sugar on top. Some little chewy gummy candy.
What flavor? Talking like rose water or
you have to try one and find out.
I'll try one.
Yeah, I was gonna go for it.
A taste of strawberries.
I distrust immediately.
This is fantastic. Please send our compliments to the chef.
I will do so. I will do so.
What does
So-
this do to our brain again?
Which part?
The strawberry.
Oh,
jelly.
nothing. That just relaxes you and lets you enjoy the beauties of Thebes in a sweet delight, you could say. It is the drink that was said specifically would perk someone up. I just assumed that it would do something to your brain. That's just an assumption of mine. I kind of ad-libbed it, you could say.
Is this where we turn around and Laertes on like his third cup of coffee, jittering like Fry in drama? This is amazing.
Or
We're all moving
Brendan
much slower than.
Fraser when he tastes coffee for the first time in that is it George the Jungle? When he goes
one?
to the civilized world.
I think so.
I missed the title. Sorry.
George of the Jungle.
Oh, I was like Blast from the Past, but
You said Brendan Fraser. I was thinking this. I heard Fraser and was thinking about the show, and I was like,
Fraser, you know, moves to Seattle for the first time.
Oh my goodness.
In the prequel. That was not Cheers.
Right. But he provides you with some snacks and says, if for any reason that you do need anything, please call out to myself, Actor. We also have Acadios inside, and Actus, Akamos, and of course James. So any of those 5 names, we will come running to meet you with whatever you need. I hope that you enjoy your stay here at the Jewel Street Cart. At least that is what we are going to call it for now. It is not my favorite name, he says as he like turns around and like starts talking to himself, like as if you guys were still listening, but mostly he's just talking to himself as he goes back.
it does
inside.
sound like he lost on a committee meeting or something.
Yeah, a little bit.
I can tell, Dreamy.
that got me, and I don't know why.
Little do you know, you've now given Themisto the ability to pronounce this guy's name James.
James. Yes. Okay. You sit. You enjoy the Turkish delights, soon to be called, and as well as the coffee that definitely gives a nice added layer of a buzz. Over the course of the next, say, hour or two, as you are relaxing and waiting.
I would like to distract Cypress as best I can,
Okay.
knowing he is losing his mind right now. Hey, Cypress, when you were young, did you ever play that game where you have to like hold your hands out and try like not to get slapped by like the person with their hands underneath? It's really easy. I'll show you. And if you're not good at it, I could
briefly.
slap you.
Oh shoot!
You gotta be faster, okay? Okay.
This-
You're a monk.
Get
Fair.
good, man. You're a fighter. Here, okay. You try to. You try. And so just trying to distract him, get his mind on anything but the palace that's right there.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of want to know how this turns out.
Cypress never scores.
What is your dex?
14.
Yeah, your hands are just red welts by the end of it. BB has not gotten hit once.
I hate this game.
No, do you have another game, a better game?
I've lost hit points.
What game do you want to play? We can try backgammon. If the mister wants to teach us.
Okay.
Oh yeah, it's so easy.
Laertes, teach me how to
James, do you have dice?
James, do you have dice?
James.
You call out for James?
Yeah.
Okay, so as of late, so far you can tell like one brother is like a little younger, but they're almost like carbon copies of each other. They're just like younger, older by maybe a little bit, if
James
anything.
comes out and is like a half orc or something, I'm gonna cry from laughing.
No, but as you call
It's
for
just gonna
you call from James, and he is a much portlier gnome than the others, as he just kind of like steps out.
You called.
Do you have
I
any
was,
dice?
I was so hoping this was going to be Martel on just a different character.
That would have been wild.
Get him back! Get him back!
We call for James, and he's just
Can
like
he
an
roll
even
in
smaller
from-
gnome, like a gnome to gnome.
But yes, of the others, he seems like he's not as dressed up as the rest. He is definitely the other brother who's just like,
Shh. You want dice?
Yes,
Sure.
please.
Dice. Who wants dice?
and he just goes back inside and he comes out and gives you dice here in a little bit.
Who owns dice, really?
Who wants dice? Useless things.
Tosses you some dice. We'll say over the next hour as you play more backgammon. Your mind now fully distracted and filled with caffeine and sugar highs.
My hands hurt so bad.
I haven't hit you in like half an hour.
You have like cat tongue hands. You're like scraping the skin off of my hands. They're very calloused.
That's not what somebody else says.
Lord. Anyway, as you await, you will finally have to wait no longer. As you see Ma'al slowly like come up the street with a small cane of what looks like white oh my god, not fridge, what's it called? Fossilized wood. What is, there's another petrified, another like almost like a white, but it's
I was
almost
like, come on,
carved-
Aaron, we need some
I know-
descriptions to
I
like,
know.
help you out.
I know. three letters, three syllables.
Sounds like
And she comes walking over with this like petrified wood cane that looks very beautifully and ornately carved. In fact, even all of the creases in it are inlaid with gold. So any little crack, it just seems like it's just sparkles with this gold inlay.
I see you have found the place.
She kind of comes over, slowly
Yes.
down. Oh.
That is a long walk and many stairs. Well,
Your friends here are quite terrified of you.
because they owe all of this to me. I let them borrow a small sum in exchange for allowing my guests that I choose to come and partake of their services as need be. I'm assuming you've met everyone?
I think we've met all 5 of them.
The nimble, the crafty, the entertainer, and the cook. And then there's James.
The dice man.
We borrowed some dice from him. Cypress needed to be distracted.
I see.
They're
Cypress
like
is also really
ornate.
bad at games.
You're just noticing. Could have told you that from like the second day.
When
no,
would you
no,
have
no
noticed,
offense.
Mal?
Never mind. Well, to business.
I have spoken to the queens and told them a fair amount. She looks over and she's talking. She stays looking over at Cypress.
Oh, that's where you were.
Yes, I told the
I thought-
guards, remember?
You did. I thought that you were taking a long time just to get here. I thought we outpaced you.
No, I went to speak with the queens on your behalf.
Thank you.
They are wanting to meet with all of you. There are things that need to be discussed in more detail than I was able to offer. But you are no longer, well, not that you were banished from the city, but you are welcome back within the city, as per their orders.
Hey, Cypress. You did it.
Cypress just slumps. He doesn't fall because he was sitting, but just all this clear emotional weight. Not all of it, but a large portion of it just wafts off of him. I don't know how I was going to try and explain that myself.
That is why I went and told them for you. After all, they have heard stories from the great Ma'al Saj'ul before. Why would I make things up now?
How long have you lived here?
Oh, I don't.
Or how long have you been here?
I've passed through now and then.
Cypress, you can't ask a lady her age.
You wouldn't be able to
asked
count
no
that
such
high
thing.
anyway.
There would be several layers of connection before me to have been asking that question. Thank you, Mal.
I knew what I must do once you told me some of your stories and why you had set out on the seas to begin with. I knew that if I was to survive returning to Thebes with you, which for a while I wasn't sure if I was going to, I must somehow repay your kindness in allowing me to travel with you all of these days.
Oh, Ma'al, you all romantic.
Don't you dare say those words to me ever again. Do you hear me?
Promise, never. No one will ever know this side of you.
No one must know.
I will take it to my grave.
You better. Otherwise...
Did you?
She looks like she's about to say something else, and then she's like, what?
Did you see the prince?
I was only speaking to the queens in private. But I'm sure that word will have reached him eventually. Especially once you have your audience with the queens.
Yes.
Are you prepared?
No. But I'm ready to go.
Hold on just a moment. And Phoebe's gonna like brush some like, well, it's not jelly crumbs, but like some powdered sugar off him. Kind of like take a corner of her shawl and like shine some of the armor. Hold on. Just let me just zhuzh it up real quick.
I
Just
made
like kind of do this to your hair.
spotless as possible this morning.
No, just
It's part of my routine.
there you go.
What were you gonna
No,
say?
you're right.
What were you gonna say, Laertes?
Looking around, is it just us in here, or okay? I'm just
You are
going
currently the
to-
only customers.
Okay. Oh, that bodes well for this place.
Listen, when you don't get the property that's on the main avenue and you're a street off, yeah.
and no one knows the name. And, there's going to be that familiar sensation of that static roll as everything about you know what? No, I'm not going to do that. I reach out to go start doing that, and then I stop and I look at how it makes more sense that there is a bit more of a scuff, a little more wear and tear. Wear and tear. No, had to. Because it tells a better story than being pristine. So there is none of that. I reach out to go start, and then I think better of it, and then I just do absolutely nothing.
Music turned real dark all of a sudden.
As I kill. Cypress.
It's a kill, Cypress.
The coffee was dark and bitter.
I decide to leave.
Like my soul.
I decide to leave this building to its filth.
The coffee was just Bildura.
Just liquid in liquid form. Beautiful.
James was builder.
In his most powerful shard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The almighty James. Okay. So oh crap, I had a thought. Oh. Ma'al just kind of like now seeming satisfied with her words.
You are to go and speak with the queens as soon as possible. Once you have, rested enough, of course. They await your arrival.
Are we all
He gives Laertes rest with another cup of coffee. He's going to vibrate into space.
Well, that would put Astrid out of a job, but might as well go while we can.
And that's not to keep royalty waiting.
Okay.
But the better question is, are you ready?
Ready to go.
Okay. You guys
roll my arms really tight around Cypress. Oh, my brother, you've got this.
Thank you, sister.
Astrid.
For a moment, Astrid wants to close her eyes and try to visualize Astarion and locate him so that we can know where he might be in the palace.
Okay.
I have described him before.
Yeah. Are you like just doing the astral sense, or are you using like scribes particularly?
Scrying, yeah. I want to see, like, visualize like him in like where he's at. Yeah.
As they're having this conversation, everything kind of slows down in for a moment as you kind of focus in within yourself, thinking about where Astarion might be. And as you focus in, there is a strange resonance within your head. It's almost like this odd vibration that's just like right behind your eyes, and you can't focus, and you like try and shake it out, and you just shake your head again, and then shake it again. Bring your hand up to your face and you rub, and you feel like your hand is going through your skull. Like the sense of depth perception, even though it's not actually doing that, that sense of depth makes it feel odd. And you pull your hand back, expecting something odd to be there. You touch your lip, just a little bit of blood. Your scry was failed. It wasn't block. It was like a static that prevented any sort of, well, scrying.
I think about, like, I've done this before a couple times, and until now, it had always felt like, oh, this is, like, Cypress's love interest, and that's about it, and we're just checking on him. But now that we're in the city, the idea that, like, no, he's a prince, and he's an important person, and if someone had this ability and wanted to do wrong with it, that would be really bad. So it makes sense that this is blocking now that we're here.
As you guys are getting ready to leave, you can see the Aster kind of like rub her face, and then a little blood comes out of her nose. Just a little.
Oh,
That's
Are you all right?
shouldn't be happening out of the blue. There's plenty of water around here. Nothing to dry this out.
it's well, I tried to see what I tried to see where Astoria might be. I guess this seems static that you're feeling, Cypress. I mean, Lertis, is affecting me as well.
Another
I'm afraid I don't know if
Peace.
that's new or not.
another piece, Laertes, of a puzzle. You know that his senses are kind of act differently on different realms than yours. You're pretty sure. So this particular sense shouldn't have been affected, you think, but if it is, you wonder what other abilities may be being skewed right now. These other these abilities that have to do with sight, it seems. Divination, if you were. But you guys gather, you guys stand up. Ma'al stays sitting down. I am going to stay here for some time. I have a feeling that I'm going to be more in the way than I am going to be useful. I have repaid my favor to you up until this point. And I feel that perhaps it is time that our paths diverge.
You don't want to see how this story ends, Mal.
I am not leaving that fast, but I will await for you to return so that you might tell me these stories yourself.
I'll give you the exclusive.
Or else you'll be going into an early grave, yes.
Thank you, Ma.
No. Thank you for allowing me to travel with gods. It is not every historian that can say that.
I don't know if the gods would agree with you. They called us Orphics until...
Whatever name you go by, it matters not to me.
How about friend?
Friend I like, yes. May the other gods keep you and bless you on your journey, wherever that might take you. Goodbye, friends.
Till we meet again, Mal.
Until we meet again. She's kind of like, she like just also just kind of sits back, and you hear the door open as Acthar comes out, and he's like, "How would you like your?" Oh God! So he closes the door. You can hear on the inside, "She's here. She's outside." Won't
You should
ever
ask for the hot bean juice that they serve here.
hot bean juice. Cursed to the end of your days. Beautiful.
I mean, why do you think they call Boston Beantown?
Good point.
It's just soup.
Yeah, it's fine. Let's see here. Okay.
Yeah, she's
you guys leave the Agora district and pass into the Royal Promenade. As you leave this section of town, there is a good open space between you and the entire. So, like, the back end of this island is all palace grounds. There are these two large, more kind of almost like another sort of retaining wall on both left and right side. They kind of come together to this grand staircase of like hundreds of feet across that leads up to the top section of the island, the topmost part. The entire promenade from one end to the other is a vast tiled mosaic that seems to tell stories upon stories. As you walk, you recognize some of stories of heroes of defeating monsters. You see some of an illustrious city gleaming in golden light where it looks like waves are about to overtake it. You see some on the far side as you are walking of a woman with a box that is about to be opened that stands before a bunch of people. You see all of these stories from time immemorial. Time, who knows when these stories came forth, but they were laid down in recollection here. And you can see on the far side that there are still people who are laying down tiles even now, putting in new stories into this royal promenade that stretches across from one side of the city to the other. The walls themselves that hold up this other upper section of the palace also contain statues that seem to be coming out of the walls, almost as if they too are telling these stories or speaking to each other from the raised portions of the wall, like they had been called or summoned forth from the stonework itself. As you walk up the stairs of this central area, there's not a lot of people in this part of the city. Most everybody stays in the actual rest of Thebes. There's a couple of what looks like maybe dignitaries, maybe a few nobles or rich merchants that go up and down the stairs. You see some patrols of guards that walk by, separated in different regiments of elemental types. You see the fire genasi go walk by. You see as you walk up to the stairs, as you walk up the stairs, you see that there are the guards that guard the stairwell itself, almost in a ceremonial, like Buckingham Palace guard style, as they kind of go all the way up to the top, are all these earth genasi with brilliant shades of precious stones for skin. They also seem to have these golden laces in them for veins. They move standing still enough to be statues that almost makes you think twice if they actually are or not. But as you reach the top of the stairs, you're probably about like 20 steps away from the very top. You see two fire genasi women make their appearance at the top of the stairs. The queens of Thebes have come to greet you at the top of the stairs. Cyprus, you see Titaea on one side and Ariste on the other.
Can you drop those in the chat?
Aye. Do that real quick before I forget.
Appreciate it.
Oh. You see that one queen, slightly taller than the other, seems to have more of a volcanic glow to her nature. She seems to glow and emanate like burning magma, but still subdued in the dark colors. You see another one that seems to sparkle like embers in filling a night sky. There's like almost a glittering, like when someone has freckles, but the freckles are themselves like actual light. Then amongst parts of her exposed arm, you can see that also there is that like almost like little magma rivers that curl around her arm in these very not quite runic, but in these very flowing, circular, almost scroll-like patterns. More almost like more designed than they are like natural veins. As you approach, let's see. Welcome to Thebes. It has been some time since Cyprus has left home, it would seem. And he has come back with companions who bring ill tidings. Please, follow us. We have much to discuss. This coming from Ariste. The other queen seems more not grumpy, more cross. She has let her companion speak, but she keeps her arms folded and kind of looks at Cypress with a very withering is too intense, but she just kind of her eyes narrow at him, just almost partially in suspicion, but also something else. She turns first and heads back towards the palace. And Arista waits for you guys to come up to the front steps before turning.
Cypress, you deserve to be here. You are here of your own merit. You have earned to be placed here. You can speak to them as equals.
The Misto entirely follows Cypress's moves through this. So, you got it, buddy.
Thank you. And thank you, Phoebe. I don't know if they would quite agree with the equal statement, but working on it.
You are not less than. Do not let them make you feel less than.
This island makes one feel less than. But
This island is beautiful, and you reflect it in both appearance and spirit.
thank you. Cypress will take the first step and follow him up the remainder of the steps into the palace.
Yes. And as you follow across this, if you thought the hanging gardens of the entrance were nice, the grounds around the palace of Cadmea itself make the other seem like hedge work. But as we'll just have to wait for the rest of that description next time.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Aaron, you're too good.
I don't know about that. But thank you. Whew. We're in Thebes. You have made it
We
here.
finally made it.
What
Yeah.
a stunning place to have our
Gorgeous.
final little arc
What a
happen.
gorgeous place for Aaron to utterly destroy.
So he's basically a child that's built this lovely little like sandcastle
And
that
now it's
he's
just
gonna
gonna
go kick over.
Godzilla.
Curse you for knowing me so
You-
well.
You brilliantly described a place that where it's like, this place is so awesome, right? Everyone who lives here's got to be so great, right? And live up to so much, right?
It's
Man,
amazing.
it's fun not being the one going home or this time.
So it's basically Numenor.
It
Yeah.
does sort of. I was sort of
It just
had a
gives
Numenor
it
vibe.
does
Yeah,
give
it's that failed island nation state vibe.
It's just all city. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm sure everything will be fine. But lots of little. It's gonna be good. Yeah, lots of really fun little tidbits here and there. But looking forward to getting into the meat of things.
Cypress takes a bad step up the stairway and breaks his ankle.
All the way back down. Oh,
Yeah,
You're
we're all
like,
watching
you're like
that.
covered in healers right now, so you just
Yeah,
keep breaking
that's-
that ankle.
that's fair.
You'll have to carry me.
Beautiful. All right, guys. Well, thank you guys so much for shaming if it exploded or something.
That's a real nice city you got there.
Would be a shame if Baldura happened or something.
Beldura extorting Thebes for protection money.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. All right. Well, that was a good time. Happy New Year's, everybody. Be safe tonight if you're gonna go out and do anything. If you're not, then we will see you next year.
What's our first next game?
Our first next game will be here. I guess next
Next Tuesday?
Tuesday. Next Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Yeah.
How
I'll
many
try to start
games
putting
do
in all
we
the
have
rest of
next
those
week?
new events.
You what?
How many games do we have next week?
3.
Damn.
It's fine. The week after that will be 4. But that's only going to happen once a month. So, it's not that bad.
You say that now.
I say it now. I know, because then
If we could have organized it a little bit differently, we would have had Martel in 4 games in 1 evening.
Oh my God, that poor man.
But by the end of the week, there's just this dried out husk of a man.
My goodness.
But really,
wild.
that's just
No,
gonna
that's
be
just
you.
Aaron. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's just me every day.
Hello. Hello, Maal.
That's Maal in another 200 years. She's slowly gonna. What was the name of our?
She's gonna turn into
drag-
Amaranth.
Yeah. She's gonna become Amaranth. She is Amaranth. Yay, Zero. Welcome. Or hello. Glad you were here, Larkeen. And Bella
Happy
and
New Year.
Ink. Happy New Year's, y'all. We will see you very, very soon. Super excited with all the stuff we have in store. So, as always, stay fey, be brave, and the safe word is mango. And all the other stuff. All right. Good night.